So I'm playing Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and I'm about 10 hours in, and I'm having a blast. There's a lot of controversy around this game due to the DLC and the New Game Plus situation associated with it, which is totally understandable, and I personally don't agree with it. However, this is a great game in terms of the gaming experience, and I want to talk about it. And of course, no spoilers. What's it like 10 hours in? So I should start off with explaining that I've actually never played a Yakuza game, which is also known as Like a Dragon. And this has definitely affected my experience with Infinite Wealth quite a lot. And I'll talk about it more in detail in a full-length video. But yeah, in short, it's a great game by itself, and if you want to play it as your first Yakuza game, you should hop into it. However, you probably should at least play the prior game in the series, and really, you should probably play a lot more in the series to give you more context as to what's going on within the game. That being said, having not played the other games in the series, this game is still a blast. Infinite Wealth is a direct sequel to Like a Dragon, and it takes place a few years after that. And there's definitely a lot of returning characters that of course get into some wacky situations. For those of you that don't know, one of the big pulls about the Yakuza series is really its quirkiness, and thankfully, Infinite Wealth nails it. I actually just made a video about Final Fantasy X-2 in which I discussed the quirkiness of that game and why I think it fails with its delivery, but here in Infinite Wealth, they nailed the delivery. It works extremely well here. If I could say one thing about this game, it's that it's fun. And it's not just the presentation that's fun, but also the battle system. This game is essentially a turn-based JRPG that has a lot of unique elements to it that fit in with the setting and the tone very, very well. Again, I'll talk about more specifics in a full video review in order to save time and avoid spoilers. But essentially, it's like a modernized version of a traditional JRPG turn-based system. Again, with implementation of very quirky elements into it. And again, just overall, it's a ton of fun. If you like JRPGs, I think you'll like this battle system. But actually, in the first 10 hours, you do get exposed to quite a lot of the side content and the side quests, along with the minigames. And you can definitely distract yourself from the main quest and partake in these activities. And actually, that's something I want to talk about real quick. Even early on in this game, I'm very engrossed. I go around checking different points of interest that are off the beaten path, away from the main quest. And I check out some of the side content and quests, and it's really getting me involved in the world. And I'm really starting to see the appeal of these games. And in general, there's a ton to do, but I don't feel like I have to do it. But again, I'm doing it because I want to do it, and I'm very much enjoying myself. The unique presentation, the tone, the gameplay, the characters are all just fully engrossing me in this world. But speaking of characters, again, this is my first Yakuza game, so I have no significant prior knowledge of the characters in this game, and there's a ton of returning characters. So for me, I'm kind of lost with some things. However, I have looked at some videos online and kind of got slightly caught up in what's going on in the series. But for the characters in Infinite Wealth, I really love all of them, like for the most part. So far, anyway. Each character is different in their own way, and they're really interesting, and their voice acted extremely well. I'm very impressed with these characters. Things to note thus far. So one of the issues that I have with the game is that you really should play the prior titles before playing this game, or at least look up a story summary as to what happens in the prior titles. Again, I have a vague idea of what's going on because I looked up some videos and whatnot on the prior titles, but there's a lot of games before this one, and a lot happens in each of those games. And to be fair, Infinite Wealth does do a good job at trying to explain some of the past events when the appropriate time comes. Like when a previous event was brought up, they somewhat explain what happened. But really, for the bare minimum, you should play at least Like a Dragon, and really you should probably play Yakuza 0 and Yakuza Kiwami. And if you play all the games, you'll by far have the best experience with this game. You get a lot of the references and callbacks and everything like that. But with all the games combined, I mean, that's way over 240 hours. And if you do the first 3 that I mentioned, that's at least 40 to 60 hours. I definitely messed up with hopping into the Yakuza series with this game, but also I just really wanted to jump in this game for several reasons, because certain aspects definitely appeal to me, and I'm having a lot of fun, so I'm really not that upset about it. Plus, this should also make for an interesting take on the game and the series as a whole, so... But speaking of why I wanted to start with this game, aloha, baby. It's no secret at this point, you go to Hawaii in this game, and that was a huge factor in my decision to start with this game for the series. However, it does take a bit to get there, which I found pretty surprising. The way that it's done in the game does make sense, as this is the sequel to Like a Dragon, but again, I'm not going to explain exactly what happens, so no spoilers. But it's something to note for sure that it does take a while to get to Hawaii. For me, it took around about 46 hours before I got to the mainland, and I feel like that's where the game starts proper. But again, the section before this is still fun, and it's a really good introduction to the game and kind of to the series as a whole. But again, you're missing a lot by not having the experience of the previous games. But I was definitely getting antsy to get to the Paradise Island. Also, one little last thing to note here real quick. Again, the voice acting is great, and I'm very much enjoying the story. But if you know me from this channel, you know that I'm playing the game dubbed. And it's really good dubbed. However, I think there's some plot points where the main character goes to Hawaii and is not able to effectively communicate with the people of Hawaii due to a language barrier. So there's certain scenes in which this is a big point of interest, kind of used for like comedy purposes. But if you have it in English dub, these scenes don't make a whole lot of sense because it's essentially the main character speaking English, somebody else is speaking English, but they don't understand. The main character is English because really supposedly supposed to be Japanese, so you may miss out on that aspect of the story, but otherwise, the English dub's great. Should you get this game now? I would say yes. Again, you should play the prior titles before tackling this one. But if you're like me and you want to hop into this one, I think that's totally fine, but you're going to miss out on a lot. And thus far, I'm having a great time. Again, I'm only 10 hours in, but it's been very superb. There's a chance that the quality could dip later on. However, these first 10 hours have been great, and it just seems like it's getting better and better. And even this early in, I'm very engrossed with the world and the characters and the story and the gameplay and everything else going on within the world that I'm itching to get back to it. And honestly, this is probably a game I'm going to play when the credits roll, check out all the side content, and try to do as much as I can. However, something to note in regards of purchasing this game is the different editions available. Of course, you have the standard edition, which is about $70, you have the deluxe edition, which is $85, and you have the ultimate edition, which is $110. If you haven't been up to date on the controversy surrounding these different editions, essentially, Sega, or RGG Studios, is locking the New Game Plus behind a paywall in the deluxe edition in the form of the Master Vacation Bundle. Therefore, if you buy the standard edition, you can't play the game again in New Game Plus. But again, this is locked behind the Master Vacation Bundle, so you can buy that later, but it's for $20. From a moral standpoint, I would say just get the standard edition, especially if you're not absolutely sure that you're going to continue to play the game after the credits roll and you're not particularly a die-hard Yakuza fan. But if you are a die-hard Yakuza fan, then in your heart you know which one's the right one for you. However, for me, I don't agree with paywalling the New Game Plus feature, and I did not support this with my initial purchase. I purchased the standard edition. If I decide that I want to continue playing the game after the ending, which again, honestly, it may happen, I might just buy the Master Vacation Bundle, but primarily, I'd do that just to experience the extra DLC that's associated with it. And again, I'll talk about this in a different video. For me, I think the New Game Plus feature should be in the base game for no extra cost. And this whole situation around the DLC and everything like that is just kind of sad. But thus far, my experience with it has been great, and it just keeps getting better and better. So I would recommend picking it up. But again, only the standard edition at this point in time. Wrap up. One more time. I'm only about 10 hours in to Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, but I'm having a blast, and this game's really impressed me so far in almost all aspects. If you're a fan of the franchise, I suspect you'll really enjoy this title. And if you're new to the series, I also suspect you'll enjoy this title, and this might bring you into the franchise. But again, I would highly recommend starting off with at least the prior title, and maybe a few other games, and maybe just the series as a whole. So don't be me. This is my first forte into the franchise, and I'm missing a lot of the references, a lot of the callbacks, and a lot of context behind certain scenes. But there is just enough of an explanation to fill in newcomers here to allow you to still enjoy the game and understand the story, which I'll talk about more in a full video review, because I do plan on finishing this game. So let me know if you want to see a full video on this. 2024 is starting off strong with Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and I can't wait to get back to it. If you liked the video and you want to see more like this, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit the bell notification. That way you don't miss out on any future videos. And leave a comment and tell me what you thought about the video, or what you think about the game, or what you'd like to see me do next. Again, thank you for all the support. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I love seeing what you think about the video or your opinions on the game in the comments. Also, if you want to help support the channel further, consider becoming a member and get some extra loyalty badges, emojis for comments, and a shout out in my next video. But until then, I wish you all the very best, and I hope you enjoy. Bye-bye!